Good day to you. Good day to you. Today I want to address briefly about greatness. Many people struggle with greatness and smallness. They intuitively think it's not in me to get there, and they look at themselves way down, and whatever that get there, it looks so high up, and they feel discouraged. Then they may blame the system, they may blame the parents, or whatever. So how do we get our thoughts right on this? This is a line that I have always read and found very useful. Every generous giving, moving to the perfect gift, comes from the Father of light, coming down from the Father of light, in whom there is no variation or shadow of change. So what are the principles? There's a generous giving you have received with your birth. That's the God scope. Your parents gave, God gave, it's a bonus. So don't be stuck on my background is not great, my education is not great, my parents don't have powers, social standing or wealth to give me, because you have a generous giving that has come from God. Every generous giving and the perfect gift. Now that has to move to a perfect gift when you become a benefactor, a steward of what God has given, and to help others to be fruitful, multiply, fill and fulfill. That's where we are going. If you use the generous giving, the talents, the inputs you have received, without consistency, you yourself feel it is not getting organized into a perfect gift. In the heart of man, there's a sense of where I should go. There's an expectation, what I am capable of, what I should be having, what I should be achieving. This is in the heart of man. It's written there. And there's a script. I like to call it a God script. When I was in my mother's womb and when I was woven together with parental input, there was also a God input, the generous giving. So stop the blame and stop looking at others who have and are successful and feeling jealous or feeling intimidated. Don't move to either pole. Just say to yourself, there is a generous giving I have received from my parents, from God, from my teachers, and I want to consistently get that to be a perfect gift. When you are moving that way from generous giving that you have received to perfect gift, that has power and authority, authenticity to give to others also. Life is about giving to others, and you will have an inward slogan. It is more blessed to give than to receive, rather than always saying not enough, give me, help me, grab. That's not the way. The generous giving I have received, I acknowledge, and I am being made into the perfect gift God always had in his mind, and it's from the Father of light, in whom there is no shadow of shifting or changing. He doesn't change his idea, his purpose, his focus for you and your track. He doesn't change his idea about your destiny. So we need to be consistent. So what great people consistently do to become great, others occasionally do because there's greatness in them. But they're not consistent about what God has for them. So let's work with God to get the generous giving we receive to a perfect gift. That's the stage at which I am a benefactor. Others begin to benefit from what I am capable of. That's how God has designed society. So we think of David, who was 17 years old, and he was in the backwoods of his country, looking after his father's few sheep, whereas his other brothers were doing very well in the king's court. Why such a difference? Because David was from another woman. David was from a war widow. And Jesse, the great man, was quite shy that in his old age there popped up this son. But God had his eye upon him, and God saw David's consistency with two gifts he had, taking aim with the slingshot and composing music and singing along. He was a skillful player, later we learn, and he was also very fluent with words. He had a skill. He was a wordsmith of his language. Who put those riches in him? God put it in him. Knowing his circumstances as eighth in the family, born out of time, born to another woman, that he would have no chance in his family of very competitive brothers, but God put into this child what he would become great for. So in time to come, the king wanted an exceptional musician, because king was going wrong and demons were troubling him. That's a professional hazard of kingship, just the way doctors may catch diseases. Kings get this problem, trying to put down others and to be ever king. King Saul, that was. So David was asked to come because he was recommended by another young man that he was excellent in his skillful playing, and he was, of course, the known son, the eighth one of a great man in Bethlehem, and that he was a man of valor, that he has already put down a lion and a bear, and he was faithful and loyal to his task, and that he was very good with words, and he was handsome, and of course God was with him, the Lord was with him. So king said, please get him. So the king had a problem, though he was the king. He couldn't sleep, and he was looking for a musician who could make him sleep well. And David fitted the bill, not only because he was excellent in his skill of music, also he had very gracious words to speak. And that's how the generous giving David had received with gratitude. He has worked with God and practiced and skill and consistency to a perfect gift. No man's gift is 100% perfect, but a very good gift, a king quality gift. So when we work with our gift, Proverbs 16:18 says, we would not stand before mean men, but we would be taken before the king, the greatest. That's what happened to David. He's not an exception. There was another young man called Joseph, and at the age of 17, he was set up for greatness. Within 3 years, through peril, prison, difficulties, he became vice regent in the great empire of Pharaoh in 2000 BC. So Joseph went as a 17-year-old, but he managed his circumstances, the generous giving he had received from parents and God, to a perfect gift that he could serve a king. I can give some more examples. There was another young chap called Gideon. He lived in a time his country was invaded by foreign powers, and they could hardly cultivate anything. But Gideon was 17 years old, and he took courage to cultivate that plot in the midst of enemies, and he brought forth a good harvest. And he thought of himself, oh, God spoke to him, and God said, oh, mighty man of valor. Gideon looked around to see to whom God was speaking to. It was to him. Then Gideon said, I am so small. My town is so small. And in the town, the father's family is so small. And in all my family, I am the youngest. God said, but you are the man. So again and again, God chooses those who are not well placed apparently, but stirs up the generous giving God has put into them. Because God is without variation, no shadow of shifting. He doesn't change his mind about you. Mind you, even when we fail, God doesn't change his mind. Now, when you have a perfectionist attitude, everything must come right the first time, then you don't attempt because you fear to fail. You fear your own self-condemnation. But we will not go that way. We will try till we do better. We will try, we will do better. That's how in any sport, carom or chess or any sport, you try and you become better, isn't it? Yes. So let's hold on to this principle that there is a God-given generous giving that's going to become a completed gift at every season of my life, when you are 17, when you are 24, when you are 30, when you are 40 and beyond, that gift skill set is going to become completed for that stage in your life, and God doesn't change your mind, and you will go places. Consistency is what an excellent person with excellence will do all the time, what others do occasionally. I hope this helps. Let's meet together with another broadcast soon. Thank you for listening. I'm Dr. Lalith Mendis. I have many clips that I have done on reason and clips. If you want them, please send me a WhatsApp 2074 211 5011. If you are overseas, it will be +94 742 11 5011. Also, my app, Golden Nuggets from App Store or from Google is available free of charge. Thank you, and may God help you.